that? Was good?
It was good. That was good. Makes mine look like crap now. Thanks for setting the bar so high.
But how much of that was accurate?
Yeah, it was all of it. All right. Well, I've been a mess for the last 7 weeks, so we'll see what happens. I wrote it down and emailed it to myself, because it's easier. When I think about my mom and how to describe her to others, all I can think of is service. Because of her, I have a career and I can help others. From her service, I can be of service. Because of her, she impacted children from the private school my parents started, and they have careers in teaching and also serve others in their own lives. Because of her, my children had an innocent childhood through homeschooling and been protected from the predatory schools while living in California. She was my children's second mom and had a huge impact on their upbringing. I wanted to include some of their words to her with how they will always remember her acts of service to them. This is their words. You've all been warned. Elijah, Grammy had a virtuous perspective on life and always put kindness and grace first because she lived out a life to be a representative of Christ, especially to us grandkids. Hold on. There we go. When I was about 8, I remember her talking about death, and back then the idea of death scared me, though it doesn't now. She would talk about heaven and how the goodness of God is. She said that she would be in the other room, not gone, but in the other room, and soon we'll be in that other room. Not because of her, but because she pointed the way to the cross, and it was my decision to make God the priority in my life. Jacob. This is what I got out of Jacob. What I will always remember from Grammy is to be nice to people, and it impacted my life to make friendships and not being a jerk. Cheers. All right. Emma. I learned from Grammy that being snappy and irritated all the time won't and will not ever fix anything. You ever gonna do that? Still waiting on that one. Okay. She was greatly impactful in my life by bringing Christ into my life and teaching me how to treat others and just basic school lessons. Allie, Grammy taught me that Jesus paid for my sins. She always made me feel better by getting sweet frogs and made me feel loved when I was sad. Her service to others was always Her service to others was never in a self-promoting way. And most of the time, she didn't want anyone to know what she was doing behind the scenes in her life to prevent her from receiving her crown in heaven. The pictures of the slideshow at the beginning of service really showcase who she was as a person. A wife, mom, sister, and a friend who adored her family and friends with her whole heart. Every day, she wanted everyone she knew to know that she loved them in one form or another. And she was constantly discussing Jesus and his saving grace with them to whoever would stop and listen. Even in her death, I've seen Jesus through her. Her face was so peaceful when she passed. Jesus tucked her into bed and she went to heaven. My dad was with her as she crossed over into heaven and she was not in pain at all. That's the grace of Jesus through this experience. I've seen Jesus' grace in my own life through her death with the comfort in my heart and knowing she is with him. I was begging Jesus to save her and bring her back when I was on the phone with my dad, but I had been told no, and I was broken from the answer because I wanted to keep her. Jesus needed her for his purpose, and her service to her family, was complete. Through her death, I can feel Jesus hold the family and continue to assure us that we have not been left by him, which also continues to confirm that we will again see her in heaven with a huge smile on her face. I love you, Mom, and thank you for showing me Jesus in every aspect of your life. I'll see you later.